guys, welcome to the Dummards. Today we're going to be making us a mini metal melting foundry. We had made one in the past out of plaster and one of these buckets, but we accidentally got it too hot and destroyed it. This time we're going to be making a propane version, and today I'm going to be setting the plaster. We're going to put some plaster in the bottom. If you want to see more of what we've done on the King of Random, I'll post a link below. He made both the plaster version and the version we're making today, which is a little higher quality. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get our 6-gallon bucket, and there's a line down here in the bottom. I'm going to be filling it up with plaster that deep. That way we will have a good flat surface on the bottom to be able to sit our crucible on top of. What I'm going to be using is a plaster of Paris and some play sand, both of which you can go and get at Home Depot. Have me a little measuring bucket. What I'm gonna do to start is I'm gonna get some water and fill up this bucket right here. All right, I'm just gonna fill this up with water to about where that line is. That way I can dump it into my measuring bucket and see exactly how much material we're gonna need to fill up down there. All right, so now I've got water to about that line, so I know about how much material I'm gonna need. We can dump it into this bucket, actually measure out what it's gonna be, and then that way we'll know how much sand and how much plaster to use. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just dump this off into the measuring bucket. Let's see what we got here. Hope it's not more than 2.5 quarts. Oh, it's gonna be close. Oh man, just barely too much. I think we'll just call it 2.5 quarts. How much material we'll need. What I'm gonna be doing is mixing my plaster about, I think to be safe, last time when we mixed it we put too much sand in. We did a 1-to-1 ratio, but it was too much sand and it didn't ever cure right. So we're going to do a 2-to-1 ratio, twice as much plaster of Paris. We're going to do about 2/3 of this bucket. Alright. That's not quite 2/3, but I think we'll be good. Put some sand. Let me just put this out of my hand. This stuff's pretty nice. And I believe that'll be good right there. Alright, got me in my 5-gallon bucket. Let's go ahead and dump our mixture in there. Now, let's get some water. Alright, I'm going to start by adding about 3/4 full bucket of this. Alright, got me some water. I'm just going to go ahead and dump it in our mixing bucket. Let's get it all mixed up real good. We had put a steel crucible inside our foundry, and we were melting aluminum cans, and our crucible was a cap to a welding gas tank, to an argon tank, and I don't know how many people know, but they had little holes about this big in the side of them, and we welded 2 steel plates on either side of that to try to block those holes so that our molten aluminum wouldn't spill out. But our aluminum, while those steel plates fell off the side, our welds broke and the molten aluminum started pouring out, and eventually it got so hot that our steel crucible melted, and then all our plaster started crumbling off the sides, and it was really hot, and we actually boiled the aluminum, so it got a little hot. Alright, this is getting about where I want it. We've got a pretty fair consistency in here. Let's see what we get here. Got a pretty fair consistency in here, but we gotta hurry up and pour it before it sets. Now we're gonna pour it right down here into the bottom of our bucket, up that line that we decided on. So let's get our mixture. I want to be careful it's not splashed all over the sides. We're trying to keep our bucket fairly clean, but we'll go in there with a paper towel and clean up what we spill. go ahead and scoop it all out. Alright. I'm just going to tap the side a little bit, try to get some of these air bubbles out. Our goal is to have a real good smooth surface right here in the middle for our crucible to sit on top of. So really, everything else that matters as much as that one little center spot. Alright guys, we've got our plaster poured into our bucket. Now we're just going to let it sit here and cure, and we'll get back to you in just a little bit. Alright guys, plaster's cured. I got Nolan with me here today, and we're going to go and put the rest of it together for you.
Alright, we got all our parts here. Let's show you what we got. This is our kale wool. This is the bucket with the plaster in the bottom of it. These are our 6" by 3/4 inch steel tubes. These are our reducer couplings. This is our 1/2 inch cut washers. 1/8 inch titanium drill bit. The M5 by 0.08 tap. This is our drill bit and our 6mm tap. This is the POL valve, the coupling, and the elbow to connect it up to the tank. These are the contact tips that will be the nozzles. And here's the little plug to drill the hole in for the contact tips. And then here's our assembly for the torch. This is the coupler with the sides filed down. There's the pipe nipple, the ball valve, and the elbow. And we have a 3-way splitter for the hoses, and our thread tape. We have a 1.5 inch hole bit and a bigger hole bit for the top, for the holes in the top. And these are our tuna cans for the reducer, the air intake valve. And this is 2 3-foot propane hoses and 1 5-footer.
Alright, we're going to start with our elbow. We're going to wrap it in a little bit of our Teflon tape here. Make sure none of the gas gets out. Alright, little Teflon tape on right there. Alright, once we got both sides wrapped, let's go and get the smaller side, the 1/4 inch side. We're going to put it in our ball valve. Alright, then we're going to get our channel locks here. We are going to grab onto our ball valve, and we'll get our 9/16 inch wrench, and let's get it nice and tight here. Alright, there, that way it's lined up. Alright, once we got that, we're going to go and put some tape on our brass pipe nipple. Alright, once you got that, I'm going to go and thread that into our ball valve as well. Alright, this one also takes a 9/16 inch wrench. Just make sure you get it in there nice and tight. Don't want any gas leaking out. Alright, once you get the brass pipe nipple on the ball valve, next is our coupler. And we have filed off each of the sides to get flat edges on each one. That way, as you see later in the video, we'll be able to hug the screws on it to hold it in place. Alright. And now we have our pipe assembly. Next we want to go ahead and hook up our 3-foot propane hose. Alright, got our pipe assembly. Make sure you get your 3-foot hose, and we're going to go ahead and thread those together. Alright, once you've got them all together, 1/2 is ready. Now we're going to go and do the other half.
Alright, I got our T-splitter here, and I just put some thread tape on it. And we're going to get these 2 3-foot pipes and hook it up to this 5-foot pipe that'll hook up to the propane tank. So first I'll hook the top end to the 5-foot hose, You can just get these hand tight. Hook up one of the 3-footers. Put that over there. And hook up the other 3-footer. Got a good connection, you're good to go. Alright, we're going to hook up the propane tank into the pipe. So first you get the elbow, get the flat side and screw it into the coupler. Alright, once you've done that, get your POL valve, screw it into the coupler. I'm using a 7/16 wrench and the channel locks for that. Alright, that should be good. Now I'm going to hook it up to the 5-foot hose, and this will be going into the propane tank. Alright, that should be good.
Alright, next we're going to get our reducer couplings, and we have filed off some spots on the reducer couplings so we can drill holes, and then we are going to tap them so we can put some set screws in there. So we are going to go ahead and get our drill press that we have here, and we are going to drill and tap these holes.
Yeah. Alright, now we're going to tap it with a drill.
Once we've got it tapped, we're going to get our set screw right here. And as you can see, once we get lined up correctly, it threads right in and holds good. We're going to go and do that for all 4 sides, and then we'll get back to you. Alright guys, so once we have gotten all 4 holes drilled and tapped in here, we want to go ahead and we're going to put 4 set screws in it. Don't put them in all the way yet though. You will see what we're going to do here in a second with them. Alright, you just want to go ahead and get all your screws started where they come into the middle. Not all the way closed yet. We'll do that in a second. Then you just want to go ahead, get your pipe, go and thread it in there with it. Get your other pipe reducer, screw it on, and we have our torch right here. Now what you want to do is you want to get your torch in that we had made earlier in the video with your contact tipped on the end, and you got your valve to open and close it. You want to get your end right here that we made earlier, and where these sides are that we have filed down, we want to line them up with the set screws in here and then tighten them onto it. I'm actually going to go ahead and put it in this vice grip right here and hold it while I put them in. It helps if you have 2 people. Alright, just go and get them all tightened down where it holds it firm in place. Then just get you an Allen wrench and tighten them down just a little bit. Not enough to strip our threads, but just enough to hold it in place. As you can see, it's plenty enough to hold it on. After we do that, you want to get a tuna can and open up the lid and cut out a shape just like this. And the reason why you do that is whenever the fire is going, you will slide it on right here, right behind this pipe nipple right here, and you can slide it in and out to adjust airflow. Alright, now that we've gotten all the holes in our reducer couplings, we're going to take our little brass cap here and we're going to drill a hole in the end of it and tap it too. So we have our brass cap, which we have wrapped Teflon tape around, and also our contact tip. We have also wrapped the tape around that. And just go ahead and thread those all together. Then last, you want to get the two that you've screwed together and just put them in the end of one of your pipes that we have made earlier in the video. There you go. And we're going to go and do that with the other pipe too. Alright, now we're going to get our 1.5 inch hole saw. We're just going to cut a hole inside of our bucket, that way we can stick the torches into it.
Did you get into the plaster?
Yeah, that's just the plaster that was inside this from last time.
Oh.
Alright, and our torch should go in right there. Alright, time for some kale wool. Alright, so next we want to get our kale wool, and we're going to line the inside of this bucket with it. We have enough. We're going to do some cutting. So I think the first thing we need to do, let's go ahead and cut it about right here. I'm going to be careful with this kale wool. It's like fiberglass, so it get all in your skin.
And the dust can be dangerous.
Alright. So we've got us a pretty good amount in there right now. We just need to go ahead and get us a little slit cut off to go in there. And I'm just going to guesstimate on this. It's way better on the ground. Alright. Obviously that's a little too much. See how close we are now. Alright. I think we're about where we want to be right there. Now it'll hold itself in. The last thing we want to do is go ahead and get us a hole cut where we have cut our hole for the hole saw. I think it's going to be enough to get a pipe through right there. Looks good to me. Alright, so once you have both holes cut in your bucket, you want to go ahead and get your two torches. Let's line them up where we're going to put them. Now, the pipe reducer on the flame end of the torch is too big to go through the hole, but if you unscrew it, you can put your pipe in and then screw it back on. You can pull the pipe back to you, and that'll actually seal up the hole even better. You want to get something to support your torch, that way it doesn't just blow up all in random directions in your foundry. Now we just found an old piece of steel, and basically you just want to get something just good enough to hold it level, or as level as you can get it, really. Alright guys, we've got both torches in, both sides connected. Last thing to do is connect our propane tank. Once you get your propane tank, hooking it up as simple as getting your valve that we had put on earlier and just screwing it right in. Now these valves have an opposite thread on them, so you have to turn them left to tighten it. You can also just get these hand tight. They are pretty good about not leaking. Alright guys, once we have both of our torches inside the foundry and the reducers on the end to hold them in, we want to go ahead and make sure we close both of our valves, and then we can go ahead and we should be able to turn on the propane. And once the pipe fills up, you should not hear any leaks anywhere. If you don't hear any leaks, that means you're good to go. The last thing we need to do is light it up. When you have one torch, it's a little easier to light it up. When you have two torches, I found out the best way to do it is go and turn both your valves on and then turn on using the propane while holding your torch over. So we're going to start up our torch and let's open up propane. Something else you can also do is you can make you a lid using the lid of the bucket that you get. All we did with that is we got our bigger hole saw, cut 2 holes in the top of it. Then we got some bolts, and we just used some bolts and some washers to hold the cable in the top to help insulate it. And when you do that, it just gets hot a lot faster. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, or if there's anything else you want us to try, put them in the comments too. I do want to say real quick, if you do go to the link for the King of Random, there are some parts that he has wrong in there. No offense to the King of Random, he's just busy, I guess. First of all, the 6-inch pipe, you need to make sure you get a 3/4 inch 6-inch pipe. And we'll list all this in the parts too, a little more specifically. You can get a 3/4 inch diameter 6-inch pipe. Also, the reducer couplings. The big one is 1.5 inch to 3/4 inch, and the other end is 3/4 inch to 1 inch. I believe the taps are right in there, but that was the main part. Is you got to make sure you get those pipes right size, and you can get them on Amazon when they're in stock. Please hit the like button and subscribe. See y'all next time, and try not to be too dumb.